The only problem here is classism and the patriarchy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Pot of the Seven Kingdoms, journey through the Dunk and Egg novellas by George R. R. Martin. I'm Baki Balboa.
And I'm Belak, and we are continuing our reading of the Dunk and Egg novellas. We are, if you have the paperback version, starting on the bottom of page 85 and going to the very bottom of page 91 that ends with a copper, which is so sweet, which we'll get to.
No, it's the best. A little bit shorter section today, but I'm sure we will find plenty to talk about within it.
Us, 5 minutes. Are you suggesting we're going to spend an hour talking about like less than 10 pages of a novel? That's so weird. What a weird suggestion you've had.
I think it's probable, possible, if not probable. So I guess before we dive in, worth mentioning to everybody, first of all, thanks if you've been enjoying the podcast, and if you have been, let us know how much by subscribing, leaving ratings, reviews, whatever the platform allows. We're on YouTube and Spotify, so check us out wherever you prefer. Yay. And leave your comments because we love the discussion. There's been a bunch of very thoughtful stuff in there, so we just appreciate everybody's addition to the discourse. So we'll dive in. This section is Dunk realizing that, as we talked about last time, he kind of realizes that he's screwed. Because he's got to find 6 people to fight with him, and he knows exactly like 2 people at this tournament.
He needs 6. He needs 6 people, and he checks his Facebook friends list, and he does not have that many. His MySpace does not have his top 8 filled. He does not know what to do. He's got no followers on Instagram.
His top 2 in his MySpace top 8 are Egg and Raymun Fossoway. End of list.
He also had his master, but then he had to remove him from the list,
unfortunately.
So he is released and has to go find people to fight with. And it seems from this section, I think, that like the fight's the next day. He's gotta get it together like ASAP.
We discussed last time about like was he being released like the night before the fight, and we sort of like we're trying to figure that. It is that is what's happening. Like it is nighttime to the point that most of the pavilions are dark. Like most people are asleep, so it is so late at night that most people are already done for the night, and he has to find 6 people to fight with him by
in the morning. This is like, I don't know if you ever worked a job like a minimum wage job where you need to find someone to cover your shifts like last minute, and it's like impossible, and you're in the group chat like, hey guys, I need you, like anybody available for the 6 a.m. Like I really can't make it, and it just crickets. Yeah.
And it's 11 p.m.
It's 11 p.m.
You're like, is anybody awake?
And the only person that responds to you is this reporter who you didn't invite to the chat, and you're not sure how he got there. That's it's
like, can you work it?
Yeah. Hey, since you're here, can you help out?
I hate it when the reporters are in the group chat.
I know, it's the worst. They just get sucked in sometimes,
Yeah.
How many Signalgate references will we make in this episode?
It's
at least 2.
Yeah, we're deep in it. We'll see how much Targaryen OPSEC or how good Targaryen OPSEC is.
Oh, fantastic.
They Dunk has his sort of second wavering of like, do I actually want to be a knight? What if I just got out of here? But honestly, he banishes it pretty quickly. He banishes this thought pretty quickly, but he does have this thought of like, I could just get on my horse and go.
Honestly, like this is a lot for a guy who almost certainly was not actually knighted.
Right.
Like this is like a high level of dedication for a guy to knighthood, for a guy who is in fact not a knight, by like the rules. So like good for him, you know? Like he's dedicated, he has a
Yeah.
goal. He's going to take steps to get there.
Yeah.
Or he's going to try. So he goes the first thing was he was worried about his horses because if you remember in the previous section, he was just like locked up, right? So he didn't know,
Yeah.
you know, he was worried his car was going to get impounded, you know, that kind of thing. He just didn't know what was going on. But he does find his horses, and they were tied up outside the Fossoway pavilion, which means that the Fossaways, after finding out he was arrested, went and took care of his horses, which is really nice. That's like a really nice thing to do.
Yeah. Raymun is like continuing this sort of like friendship with Dunk, even amongst, you know, obviously now he's politically not a very good person to associate with because he just, you know, punched and kicked a prince multiple times. And so he's not exactly he's you know, not exactly well thought of amongst the nobles, and so the fact that the Fossaways continue to like take him in, obviously a bit of a risk, but yeah, Dunk has earned their trust, you know, and has gotten some good back out of it. And he tells Raymun, as he like heads in, he tells Raymun, so I have to fight. And Raymun's like,
hey.
Raymun's like, you know, they use like real weapons in those.
Raymun's like, oh shit, we're an attorney though, man.
Yeah, like
these guns are gonna be loaded. I don't know, man.
Yeah, like
these are like blanks, yeah.
Yeah, and now you got to fight for real. And immediately, this is where Steffon appears, uninvited, unprompted, to make fun of his cousin.
Yep.
And then speak loudly about how many knights he knows and who he can get on Dunk's side and how he's going to like march out there and get all of the basically the lords paramount of the Seven Kingdoms. He's going to go get them to come fight for Dunk.
Why do you doubt that Sir Steffon Fossoway could do such a thing? What? Like clearly he's capable of doing that.
He also, okay, so Steffon, if people who have listened to the whole podcast, they can remember back to when we were first introduced to Steffon Fossoway, and he couldn't stop making this joke about how his cousin was not ripe yet. He sneaks it in again.
Yes!
You have one Fossoway at least, the ripe one.
The ripe one. Man, one joke Fossoway over here.
He's just running it back over and over again.
And I love like he's so confident that he can get these people because he's like, you know, I'll fight for you, whatever. And then he says, then we need 5 more good men. Fortunately, I have more than 5 friends. Leo Longthorn, the Laughing Storm, Lord Caron, the Lannisters, plural. Yeah. Sir Otho Bracken, I, and the Blackwoods as well. That you'll never get Blackwood and Bracken on the same side. I'll go and speak with some of them.
Yeah.
Buddy.
This is what, like, I know we're not on our wish list yet for the show, but I am like picturing the way that he's written by George here is that he's putting on like a voice in my head.
Yes.
Where he's like,
yes, he is.
Where he's like, you need not fear, cousin. This is a knightly combat, you know, and it's just like, and he's like holding his doublet.
Yeah, he's like puffing out. He's definitely like holding like the golden apple that's like against his like cloak. He's like, need not fear, cousin. Yeah. This is a knightly battle. I shall go fetch my friends.
He's like when the protagonist of a Disney film is making fun of the prince who sucks.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm picturing. It's just it's so over the top. And I'm like, and I don't know if he necessarily knows how ridiculous he is. Like, and obviously listing off that list of people that you just said, like, we're talking about 3 of the families that are genuinely the lords paramount of their part of the Seven Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, his liege lord in Leo Longthorn, who, you know, Leo Tyrell is literally the Fossoway's like liege. a Baratheon and 2 Lannisters, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go speak to them and it'll be fine. Like, don't even worry about it.
He's like, I follow them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And they're gonna totally respond when I DM them. It's great.
Right. Yeah, because he says friends and then says, I know that or whatever. And this is when Raymun really like shines in this next scene, because like the second that Steffon storms out, like he's just gone.
Yeah.
Where I feel like many of us know people like this, where it's like they come up with a great plan in their head and they start to go execute it without anybody actually offering their 2 cents on the plan, where he just says out loud what his plan is and leaves.
Yep.
Doesn't elicit any sort of like feedback or any.
Well,
there's no conversation.
The only thing that happens is his cousin Raymun says like they won't be happy to be woken up because it's like the fucking middle of the night.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're going to like walk into like these lords or whatever. And Sir Steffon goes, excellent. If they are angry, they'll fight all the more fiercely. Like I don't even know I think what it is on the page is that he's just like this. He's like one of those people like you're describing who like gets an idea and like immediately goes with it. Or like, is he trying to like excuse himself from the tent so he doesn't have to be involved in this and he's like pretending?
Right.
But I don't think we have any real evidence of that, but they could play it that way in the television show, I guess. But I think he's really earnest. Like he thinks he's that important.
Yeah.
You know, that he can go and do this. And yeah, he just exits stage left, you know.
Yeah.
Pursued by dreams. That's all he does.
Him say, I also love this line of like, because he says, I shall meet you both at the Challenger's paddock. He laughed. This will be a day long remembered, I think. And he leaves, which is just that's a crazy thing to say out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
Like he's not really talking to anybody. He's just offering that like into the air.
Yeah.
As if it's like a song about that. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody's telling the story about this trial by combat, and it starts with, you know, Steffon Fossoway saying that this will be a day long remembered, and it was.
Yeah.
Like,
I just see George R. R. Martin behind his typewriter, just like, they're gonna fucking love this.
Yeah.
It'll be a day long remembered. Do you get it? He's like bursting through the page to try to wink at the reader. Like, hey, you get it?
So the worst part about this is that Dunk sees a grain of hope in this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh well, your cousin said, and Raymun's like, I mean, I'm sure he knows them. They don't know him,
right? Yeah, Raymun's immediately like, that's not going to work. So what are we going to do instead?
Yeah. And this is when we get an intrusion.
Ooh, yes.
Which is sort of unexpected. Not the first one, not as much. Egg appears and offers one of the most genuine and sweet lines of the whole book.
Yeah.
Dunk, like, Egg walks in and Dunk said, like, Egg? Dunk got to his feet. What are you doing here? I'm your squire, the boy said. You'll need someone to arm you, sir. Like, come on.
He's like, I'm still your squire. Like, I'm still doing this internship. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I need the credits. I need to put my hours in. But no, it's very sweet. And then Dunk is like, you know, does your dad know you left? And then who steps in but Daeron Targaryen, of all people.
Daeron the Drunkard.
And he's like, yeah, no, dad does not know we're here.
Yeah.
For sure. And Dunk's like, what the fuck, man? You've been lying about me.
Yeah.
Because if you recall from last time, Daeron is the one who said that Dunk kidnapped Egg on the road.
Yeah.
And that was his explanation for why he lost Egg. So like on top of everybody knowing that Dunk beat the shit out of Aerion, they're like, oh, and he's a child kidnapper too.
Exactly. Like, and this is where like I really hated this interchange because Daeron explains very matter-of-factly to Dunk, like, well, yeah, I had to tell him something. Like, I couldn't just say
Mhm.
that I didn't want to come to the tournament. Like, I'm a prince. Like, I
Yep.
couldn't just say that. And I did something really wrong, and I couldn't risk like myself. So yeah, I said, and the matter of factness with which he delivers it is so galling.
Mhm.
So like, because it's so prevalent
Mhm.
even in our regular world of like, people of a certain like social class, upper like wealthy like people using these sorts of excuses or fall guys or whatever,
Mhm.
like as a way to avoid any sort of accountability.
Mhm.
And so it was just like reading this, I'm just like, oh, this sucks so bad because it's, it also exists in our real world.
Yeah. And it's such another great characterization of him in like so few words, like how selfish that is.
Oh, yeah.
Like besides it being like here definitely a privilege and a classism thing, which we'll talk about like in themes, but like just the selfishness of this person.
Yeah.
Because like Baylor would never,
No.
right? Baylor is like got also the same privilege and the same classism, but
Yeah.
Baylor would never. But Damon is Daeron. Sorry,
Daeron, yeah, yeah.
Daeron. So they're all the same fucking name. This
Yeah.
is not my fault. That's the Targaryen's fault.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anyone else. I mean, we've seen it before, right? He doesn't care enough about his younger brother to keep an eye on him.
Right.
And he doesn't care enough about this tourney that his family cares about to participate.
Mhm.
He doesn't care about the truth,
Right.
and he does not give any shits about Dunk. And that
Right.
continues through this conversation as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This, I really, um, I feel like Darren's a complicated character in that so his whole thing is that he has these dreams, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Right. So he's got, dragon dreams, whatever, and the weight of those is the thing that drives him to drink and suppress his thoughts about these dreams and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And like addiction is a real affliction.
Yep, absolutely.
And I really struggle with Daeron's like approach to it specifically because he sort of allows it to be, well, he has made it the only thing that he necessarily like cares about. Like he asks Dunk
Mhm.
for wine when he comes in the tent. Yeah, I lied about you, but also I need a cup of wine. Look, my hands are shaking. And
Yep.
like, and then even says that the reason he wasn't paying attention to Egg was because he wasn't at the bottom of my wine cup, and that was the only place I looked for him. And
Mhm.
like, I am incredibly sympathetic to the fact that like a character has, and if a person is struggling with this sort of like addiction, it
Mhm.
is a disease. It's like something that people absolutely struggle with. And there was something about this that felt specifically sort of like he uses it a little bit. Like
Mhm.
it's
As an
just like
excuse.
it's just constantly coming up like as the reason that he's not doing stuff or that
Mhm.
he like, and I know that that's a real thing
Mhm.
um for people with dependencies like that. And it's just I really struggle with Daeron because it's like you have all of the like he doesn't have any like barriers to like having whatever he needs, right?
Mhm.
Like there are people who struggle with chemical like dependencies because they lack so much or
Oh,
whatever. And it's
definitely.
harder to
Yes.
have sympathy. It's harder to have sympathy. I'm not saying it's not a thing, but it's just harder to have sympathy like for a character who wants for nothing and yet like
Mhm.
still sort of ends up in this and especially sort of using a poor person as a pawn like within
Mhm.
his own scheme to avoid accountability. Like it just, I
Mhm.
really struggle with Daeron.
It's complicated, and I think that's one of the great things about it. And it's like he's not on page all that long, but
Yeah.
we still get that image. Um, but by way of background, I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I also work. We have like several different types of like recovery courts that I've worked in, And so I'm
Yeah.
like very, very familiar with the process and like getting people, particularly who have committed crimes, into various kinds of rehabilitation. And you encounter this. This is a pattern of behavior in people who do have like you can simultaneously have a chemical. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a storm alert.
Oh, you're good.
Here,
I'll
back
mark it.
up a bit. Oh, my sound is off, but I guess it cuts through. That was a tornado warning. We don't get tornadoes in New Jersey. There's just a lot of rain tonight.
Oh,
they get excited.
because I was
back
going
up
to say my wife is in New Jersey right now, so.
Oh, yay! Yay! Yeah, well, yeah, there's a very bad storm wherever she is. She's probably getting rain because the whole state's getting rain tonight.
Yeah, they're in Jackson.
Oh, that's not too far. Yeah, I know where Jackson is. Some of my family used to live there, but
Yeah.
let me. Oh, Frank just texted me because he's going to be like, "Did you get the emergency?" Yep.
You're like, good news, I'm already in the basement.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm like, come over to my basement, to my studio.
Right.
Let me back up. I'm going to back up to,
Yeah.
I'll start a criminal defense attorney. That way it'll give you a nice
Yeah.
So by way of background, I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I've worked with a lot of clients in a lot of our different like recovery programs. We have a lot of like recovery courts or drug courts. They have different names, where you're basically taking a person who's committed some kind of crime because of addiction and putting them into intensive rehab to try to treat the underlying cause while you're treating, doing probation kind of stuff. And it's complicated because you could be someone who is like very genuinely in the throes of a physical chemical addiction to a substance and not being able to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also be an asshole. Those things are not mutually exclusive. And it's, people are complicated. It's not like, if only Daeron got help.
Right.
Like, okay, Westeros maybe doesn't have like cognitive behavioral therapy like we have, but of anyone in Westeros who could seek sobriety, Daeron is the person. Right? He has literally all the resources. And like you were saying, he doesn't have a lot of the hardships that would trigger like a small folk person to try to like drown their sorrows in wine, for example. We see this also with like, Tyrion Lannister has a very similar thing where like Tyrion drinks to excess all the time. And it's just like part of his character. And like, he doesn't have to do that, but maybe something's going on there. But he's also kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
So it's not like these things aren't mutually exclusive. So it does make Daeron somewhat more sympathetic. It is also possible people use things as an excuse to get out. People use like anything as an excuse to get out of doing things they don't want to do. Right.
Sure.
So like it seems to be implied in the text that he has an addiction given the shakes, right? Because he's talking about like that's a withdrawal symptom.
Yeah.
But also like he just doesn't seem to be like a guy that cares that much about people around him.
Right.
Like he cares about himself and he's like, the one thing I have to do is drink.
Yeah.
And like that is also a bad trait. So like we have like that complication.
Sure.
And that's how people are.
Yeah.
And that's what, when you work with addicts, it takes a lot of bandwidth because of that complexity. And because they need, a lot of care and don't necessarily have the ability to get back.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's part of the gig.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a really good point about Daeron, that like he's balancing these things. Whether he's drinking because he's so haunted by his dragon dreams, I'm less convinced, but perhaps I will get convinced. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, as Dunk is, he's got his team, quote unquote, trying to be assembled. We find out from Egg and Daeron, like just what the other side is shaping up to be. Right. And we find out that it is going to be Maekar joining the accusers along. So Aerion, obviously, as the accuser, Daeron was basically bullied into it by Aerion because he said that was the whole reason he was asking for a trial of 7 in the first place. Maekar makes 3. And then the 3 Kingsguard who had traveled to this tournament also get put in there. So Roland Craycall, Donald of Duskendale, and Willem Wild all get thrown in the mix. And they don't know who the 7th is going to be. They just know they have 6. And Daeron shrugged and says Arion will find someone. If need be, he'll buy a champion. He has no lack of gold. So
I wonder if that'll be a theme. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so Egg asks, who do you have? He's like, Raymun's cousin.
It's such a serious situation, but it's so funny. How does George do this? He's like, this is a lighthearted, whimsical book.
Yeah.
And it's like starting with a body, breaking fingers, going to jail, trial by 7. Like, and I'm just like, this is so whimsical, you know? Like, this is a lighthearted romp.
Yeah. No, it's been kind of, yeah. I think like maybe there's less whimsy in it than we think. But no, this is a genuine, like it is played for laughs. Like, and then Egg says like, I can get people, and Dunk's like, I am fighting your brothers. Like, and he's like, yeah. And we get this story about Arion that is, we've gotten tons of characterization of Arion as an asshole, right? Like tons and tons and tons. And this story somehow is the worst of like anything that he's done, because he straight up was torturing Egg as a child. Like,
yeah, and I'm curious. So we describe what the story is, and then we could talk a little about it. Trigger warning for anyone. We're going to talk about a little bit of essay potential here.
This is
if
like,
you want to skip the next 5 minutes, but then after this, we'll be done.
So the description is an Arion. Egg is saying this, and Arion, I remember when I was little, he used to come into my bedchamber at night and put his knife between my legs. He had too many brothers, he'd say. Maybe one night he'd make me his sister, then he could marry me. And then he also adds in a detail that he threw my cat in the well. He says he didn't, but he always lies.
Yeah. And animal torture is obviously like a big psychopath behavior.
Right. Yeah. When we have him like killing a horse. Right.
Yeah,
like, So yeah, there's like plenty of.
So what this kind of reminds me of, so first of all, like an older sibling going into a younger sibling's room at night in secret is like a sexual assault image, right? It kind of reminds me of Victarion and Euron, in the 4th book, with the creaking door. I think it's the 4th. With the creaking door. So it's kind of subtle with Euron and Victarion, but the implication is that Euron molested Victarion as a child. And what's one of the reasons Victarion, or wait, I'm getting my people confused. Not Victarion.
No, you're right.
It was Victarion? No, wasn't it the damp hair? I'm getting them confused.
Oh, well, because Victarion is maybe it is Aeron.
There's Balon, Victarion, Aeron, and Euron. That's not the order of birth, but
maybe it's Aeron.
Aeron, that's the damp hair.
Yeah. Because Victarion it's Victarion's wife is the issue. With Euron.
that's the other one. Yeah. So it's
Aeron.
Aeron. So the implication is that Euron molested Aeron as a child, which is one of the reasons Aeron is like so like you
anti.
And he has this like repeated image of a creaking door that like is like seems to be like a memory. And so like that exists in Martin's work, like that concept exists already on page. This is Egg very clearly saying that there was some kind of intrusion into his bedroom happening. Egg wouldn't say here like, and also he molested me, right? Like he would have just like blurt that out. But the fact that he's mentioning it would, like, if this was a real child saying this to me, I'd be like, whoa, red flags. Like, what is going on? That not only is your brother coming into your room at night when he's not supposed to, he's like, you're telling me he's threatening your genitals physically,
Mhm.
and he's talking about making you a sister and like implying like having sex with you. Like,
Right.
this is all very bad. These are very,
Yeah.
very bad things.
Yeah.
So whether there was an actual assault that happened, like sexual assault that happened, unclear.
Right.
But the point is, Arion, very bad person,
Yeah.
potentially a molester of his brother.
Right.
Yeah. So that is something that I think is pretty. I mean, when I first read that, I was like, oh, that's what Martin's implying with that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Daeron is the one to break the tension in a quite chill way, and I think the only thing about this exchange that it's a shame that Steffon is not in the tent for Daeron to go on about apples, because
Steffon bursts through and he's like, did you know that some are ripe and some are not?
Because he starts talking about, like, if only he'd been born a Fossoway, because he says that Arion thinks he's a dragon, like, in human form. And that's why he was so mad about the puppet show. And if only he'd been born a Fossoway, he'd think he was an apple, and we'd all be better off for it. And so Arion's like, across the siblings, it's pretty much consensus that, like, yeah, Arion sucks. But the key here for me is that Egg is doing something about it in an overt way, where he's like, he's not taking Arion's side in any way, shape, or form, right? Like, he's not participating, he's not squiring, he's not like any of that stuff. He's actively working against him, whereas Daeron, and I think this is where the characterization like comes in, Daeron is secretly talking shit about Arion.
Yeah.
But in public, lied to get Dunk into more trouble. Is going to take the side of, like, is going to fight on Arion's side. Now, he shares a bunch of nonsense about, like, or, well, I mean, it's not nonsense. He probably is going to, like, hey, can you just bonk me on the head? And I'll fall off my horse and lay in the mud.
Yeah, like, please, like, I'm going to be on the other side, but I, like, don't really count. Like, just tag me, and I'll be done.
Just don't hit me too hard.
Yeah.
And I'll just act like I got knocked out.
Yeah. He'll be like, what are the men in men's soccer who, like, they get a little kick and then they, oh.
Yeah, exactly. He'll flop.
He's like, I'm gonna grab my knee and I'll just like fall to the ground.
So but that's what, and it's like, it just reinforces that Daeron sucks so much, because it's like, Egg is doing something actively, is like, I'm gonna go find Dunk Knights, I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna do this, like, all to assist in taking Arion down, because we all agree that he sucks. And yet Daeron is like continuing to show this sort of spineless side of him, where he agrees that Arion is a monster, like, says monster.
Yep, if he
is
does.
not going to do anything actively about it, aside from take a fall in the fight, like, and just not fight. But that's only because he doesn't want to fight. It has nothing to do with, like,
it's
he's not trying to help Dunk win.
It's not about justice at all for him. He's not like trying to fix it or do anything good. He's just like, how do I not fight in this battle?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, and that's it. That's all he's concerned about. It's because he's selfish. He's focusing only on himself.
Yeah.
But then he takes Dunk outside and goes, hey man, you want to go on a walk? And Dunk's like, yeah, I guess. And in some fanfic out there, they kiss. But in this one, he tells Dunk about his dreams, his magic dreams. So I dreamed of you, said the prince. And Dunk remembers that he said that at the inn. And basically Daeron's like, my dreams are not like yours. Fuck you. You don't know what Dunk's dreams are like.
That's true.
We don't know either. But like,
he could be a dragon seed for all you know.
Exactly. You don't fucking know. But he says, my dreams are not like yours. Mine are true. They frightened me. You frightened me. I dreamed of you and a dead dragon, a great beast, huge, with wings so large they could cover this meadow. It had fallen on top of you, but you were alive and the dragon was dead. And then Dunk asks, did I kill it? And Daeron's unsure. we'll have to return to this imagery
Sure.
after a few more episodes.
Yeah.
But do you believe this is magic dragon dreams? Do you have opinions now that are not spoiler opinions? If we have to return to it, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I do think the dreams, and this is without speaking about anything specifically,
Mm-hmm.
in this series, the dreams are at least representative of things that may happen or like do sort of happen. So if I'm thinking about it, like it's hard for me not to think about it in a sort of meta way where I'm like, I feel like George is like trying to foreshadow things with these
Mm-hmm.
dragon dreams that actually do take place. At the same time, like they're vague enough to where it sort of feels like, you know, similar to clairvoyance or like other things where they're like,
Mm-hmm.
I sense something from your childhood that formed who you are today, you know, or whatever. And it's like,
No way.
yeah. And it's like, you know, I think there's a lot in this in particular where it's very, very broad
Mm-hmm.
to where you could interpret it to mean any number of things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so a dragon falling on Duncan and like the dragon being dead, it's like, who knows what that is meant to be? Does that, you know, and yeah, so I don't know. I lean towards the dragon dreams there's something to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know. I can't really
Yeah.
decide like how important they're meant to be or like how prophetic they're actually meant to be.
Right, like how magic is magic, yeah.
Exactly.
You actually just gave me an idea because I'm a not staunch defender of, but like I guess pretty near that the position that the dragon dreams are not magic.
Sure.
That this is just how dream interpretation is when you try to interpret it. When you're trying to make something mean something, you're going to find a way to make it mean something, right?
Exactly.
But follow me here. What if it's not magic in the text? But what if the magic is that it's foreshadowing to the reader, that it's George R. R. Martin's literary magic? The more you know.
Yeah. I mean that's certainly like a possibility. I think
I don't know if those words made any sense, but that's the best I could do.
Yeah.
But like it's not that it's magic to the like literally magic in the character's sense, but it's a literary device.
Right.
And like just because the literary device for us doesn't mean it's real, quote unquote, real magic in the fictional story.
Right.
But it's still something we recognize. Like it is like a foreshadowing as a literary device is something that's telling you the future.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
And
I got myself a little lost in that.
No, that's what. And from like an in-world magic perspective, you know, the mechanics of it, like we still don't really have any understanding because like dreamers back in the day, it was connected to actual dragons. Right. So like people keep dreaming, but there are no dragons until Daenerys. So like Rhaegar supposedly had dreams, Aerys, the Mad King, like supposedly had dreams or whatever. How? Like why?
It's weird.
Like,
it's weird. It's
why?
It's weird that you're pointing out that like all of these men in positions of power who were told they're from a magical bloodline of people that have magic dreams.
Yeah.
Are all pretty sure they're having magic dreams.
Right.
That's interesting. You know? Like that's
exactly.
How could that happen? Like
this is just like something that I saw last night.
Yeah. Like in House of the Dragon in season 1, King Viserys has like a dream of like his son being born with a crown. And he's like, it was magic. Like it's a dream because I dreamed of him born with a crown. And it's like, you dream a lot.
Right.
Every time you sleep. You take a nap, you go to sleep at night, like whatever. Every time you sleep, you have the potential to dream. Yeah. And if you happen to have good memories of your dreams, which some people do, then you have a lot of dreams to pick from. Unless you're like
Right.
30 for 30 in a month.
Right.
Like, I don't know that we can say they're prophetic. I think dreaming of your soon to be born child wearing a crown is not that weird
Right.
when you've been anticipating the birth of your alleged heir for 9 months. Like, I just like
Yeah.
in one of those many months, whatever 9 times 30 is, I don't know.
Yeah.
270 days. In one of those nights for you to dream of that, it's like not necessarily prophetic, man. You might just be having a dream.
Right.
So like, and like, I question whether Daeron is dreaming of Dunk or whether he's just dreaming of like a really big dude. Like, is he like, did he say, like, he didn't say like, I knew it was you by like your face and your shield. Like, I saw your shield with the falling star. Like, nothing like that. He's just like,
Right.
basically, I saw a big boy and you are so big.
Yeah.
It must have been you, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
that's my rant. I could definitely be wrong. So to take everything I say a grain of salt. I think there is magic in the universe, but
Yeah.
much, much less than the characters think.
Sure. It's a convenient way to explain away like phenomena, you know, natural phenomena, like was done in our real world, right? Where it's like it was magic until we found out that actually there's a reason it happened, and like, and we just didn't know that yet.
Exactly. Well, like George does that explicitly with the Red Comet in the second book.
Oh, 100%.
That's the purpose of the Red Comet, is that everybody has a different interpretation.
Yeah. And if
it really doesn't mean anything.
I had so many arguments about that. Because I'm like, he explicitly does it in the book, like where so and so looked up at the comment and was like positive that it meant this, right?
Yeah, that is for the Lannisters. It is Lannister red.
Yeah.
That is for dragons because dragons were born. That's for some other bullshit because I'm somewhere out. Like every single one.
Theon looks up at it and says, "The return of the old ways, like the Ironborn blood, like you know, that's why." And so it's Anyways, yeah, to your point, I think like there's a lot of room for interpretation there. So Daeron's gonna take a fall. He tells Dunk about his dream, and now Dunk has to go about arming and armoring himself for this fight, because they had taken, you know, his stuff from him, and his armor that he got a 3-day rental on or whatever, he's got to go find because he needs it. And
he does.
So he goes and finds Steely
There's
Paint.
one. I'm sorry to interrupt. There's one point before Steely Paint. In the last scene when they're walking outside, Daeron specifically says, so do me the kindness if you would, and make certain it is my brother Aerion you slay.
Yeah.
So he says, like, please kill this guy because he's a dick.
Yeah.
So like that's like out there that they'd be cool if Aerion died in this melee.
Right. And he like doesn't want it to be his dad. He doesn't want it to be like any other, I guess, like Baelor in theory, because there is still this 7th spot on the other team that nobody knows who is going to take it. So like he's like, if you're going to kill a dragon, just make sure it's the dickhead.
Yeah, please do Aerion. Nobody likes him. He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, onto the armor.
Onto Steely Pate. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go back to Steely Pate. Who you thought he was a one scene character, but JK, joke's on you. George said, guess who we're talking to next?
Yep.
So when Dunk goes back to him, Steely Pate immediately figures out that it's a trial by combat because Dunk is not missing any limbs.
Yes.
Basically. So Steely Pate's like, cool.
Steely Pate's got jokes too, because he's like a trial of 7. You know, Dunk's like, how did you know that it was a trial by combat? He's like, well, they might have kissed you and made you a lord, but it didn't seem likely. And if it went to other way, you'd be short some parts. Now follow me.
That's fantastic.
It didn't seem likely.
Dunk realizes at that point that the puppeteers have left. Or it seems like they've left.
Yeah.
And that's very sad because where is his shield and how is he going to have sex now?
Yeah. Dunk is no shield and he's just...
No. He'll never kiss a girl. And
no, it's over for him.
That's it. He's just womp womp. But
Yep.
Steely Pate has the shield, so
Yep.
she did finish painting it. Tansel did finish painting it,
Yep.
and according to Steely Pate, they left for Dorne, but she left the shield.
Yep. And Steely Pate rebanded the shield as well. Like just because he noticed that the band was like poor steel and rusty, so he just went ahead and replaced it, like to reinforce it. And we get the first image of the actual painted shield. And it is funny because like Dunk undergoes like a little bit of buyer's remorse.
Yeah, he's like, "Ah, shit, my design is shit. Oh no."
Where he's like, it's beautiful. Like the design is like stunning to him. He loves it. And then he realizes like, why did I make the star falling? Like,
he's like, shit. And yes, the star was falling. What sort of sigil was that? Would he fall just as fast?
Yeah.
And sunset heralds night. It's like, dude,
you're going too deep.
He's in his first like English 101, like English literature 101 class, you know, and like learning about like interpretation. And he's like, oh no. He's like, this is great for an essay. I'm gonna write about this. The star is falling. It's a sign. And then he says, you know, the shield is all painted up in death. And Pate's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Like there's tons of shields that are painted with like skulls and flayed men, you know, hanged men.
He's like, yours has a pretty green tree on it. Like you're good.
No, it's and then his you know, his mentor's rhyme comes back via Steely Pate with the oak and iron guard me well, or else I'm dead and doomed to hell. And this is sort of the last, you know, it's been a little bit since we've had, basically since he fought Arion, the
like
mentorship,
like a day or so.
The mentorship stuff just hasn't been on his mind. Like he hasn't thought of Arlen very much at all, because there's just been all of this other stuff going on. And so Steely Pate like says it, and it sort of like comes rushing back in this like moment of like, now he's sort of remembering that like he has gotten instruction and like he is equipped to like deal with this, even if he doesn't have a team, he doesn't have like everything he needs yet, but he does have like this, you know, he has this mentorship to fall back on, like in this moment of not really knowing what else to do. He's like, I need to just like think about the stuff that I do know, which is these like little, you know, sayings and things that will sort of keep him grounded, like through something that's obviously insane, like this, you know, giant trial by combat.
I love the fact that like they had to come up with a rhyme to be like, remember to use your shield.
Oh shit, this heavy thing I'm lugging around.
Oh fuck, I forgot about this. Like, yeah, it's like, remember, use the shield.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's like a big part that people forget. I don't know. I have known zero things about swords, so I could be totally wrong. But I thought that was cute. I'm like, Dunk, remember the shield. It goes up. It guards you. And then we end with Dunk being like, all right, well, you put this new iron rim on, you put bands on my shield. How much do I owe you? And Steely Pate says, from you, a copper.
Yeah.
And, which is so sweet, because it definitely costs more than a copper. But this goes right into something we were talking about last time, which I think is just more evidence of the fact that word has gotten out amongst the small folk at the tourney of what happened with Dunk and Arion. And there's a lot of evidence that the small folk are on Dunk's side about this.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the Fossoway's reaction, Egg and Daeron's reaction, and now Steely Pate's reaction are all evidence of like, maybe like public opinion
Mhm.
is with Dunk on this,
Right.
based on what people saw and what people have obviously been talking about like
Yeah.
the past 24 hours.
Yeah. No, totally agree. And I think like um the you know, we've talked about sort of the kind of, I know we're getting into themes here, but the like kindness
Oh no,
begetting,
not themes.
yeah, the kindness begetting kindness and all of
Exactly.
those things, like and Dunk's just ability to endear himself to people because he just like does the right thing. He isn't
Exactly.
like, he doesn't presume on people. He doesn't like, he just is earnest and like
Mm-hmm.
what you see is what you get, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody is very much like um it endears him to a lot of people. And then like the further amplification of that is in this moment where he does the right thing in the
Mm-hmm.
face of it being the wrong thing, politically, legally, all of that stuff. But he does the moral thing, which
Mm-hmm.
wins him all of the backing of the people who so often are the victims of this sort of thing because the system allows it legally, and protects certain people legally, but not others. And so him standing up for someone who wasn't protected by the system, like immediately wins him all of the small folks support, because they're like, that easily could have been me getting my finger broken by
Mm-hmm.
the prince. And, he jumped in and like intervened when no one else was willing to.
Yeah.
Um,
No noble was there, and the guards didn't intervene. Like all these people who are supposed to be tasked with that didn't.
yeah,
Absolutely. And I think the one of the nice things about the Duncan Egg novellas and this particular point is Martin plays with this concept of like doing the right thing in the face of adversity, basically,
sure.
with lots of characters in the main series. A big one being Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Like all of the latter half of Jon Snow's, like all of his like everything from like being with the wildlings
Hmm.
through his being Lord Commander is just him internally struggling with like how do I do right by everyone, or like how do I do the right thing even if like politically people think I'm doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And Daenerys also weirdly enough parallels that
Yes.
in Essos with trying to do the right thing, the right thing morally,
Hmm.
when it's like impossible to do that politically.
Right.
It's like so detrimental to do that politically.
Yeah.
Um, those are much more complicated circumstances. Here, George has given
Hmm.
us what is a straightforward example, right?
Yeah.
Like this is our main character. He's a very good boy, and clearly Aerion's evil, and what Aerion was doing was totally corrupt and
Yeah.
violent and awful, and Dunk intervening was the right thing to do. The only problem here is classism and the patriarchy that
Yeah.
Dunk is encountering.
Yeah.
The problem is Dunk is not rich. That's the
Right.
problem. And but we as a modern reader, can see
Hmm.
that Dunk is in the right here.
Yeah.
There really is no moral grayness. Dunk did the correct thing.
Yeah.
And so and we can continue to follow this theme of
Hmm.
kindness begets kindness, because uh doing, it's like a karma kind of thing. Like you do good things and good things come back to you. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that Martin is definitely playing with uh, in this first novella.
And it's funny because we already talked about the Daeron stuff, but it's sort of right in the face of all of that, where it's like Dunk had the courage to do the right thing, talking about doing the right thing morally that's difficult politically,
Mm-hmm.
or in his case, like he's jumping above his station and is
Mm-hmm.
acting out of order when it comes to his social class and stuff. Like Daeron is a sibling of this guy, has the ability, like has more ability than most to influence his behavior
Yep.
or to like hold him to account, and doesn't, because he's like a coward or protecting himself or whatever, like whatever the
Mm-hmm.
reasoning is. um and so I think we get like, I think it's another reason that he puts Daeron in the scene is like to put them next to each other and show that, like, you know, sometimes like there are people who are willing to do the right thing despite the consequences, and then there are people who aren't willing to do the right thing even though the consequences would be far less severe.
Honestly, what consequences would Daeron have if he had said, I lost, like, egg, if he had said egg ran off,
Yeah,
and like blamed it on egg,
Maekar would have
like,
been pissed.
it would have been the same outcome for him.
Yeah.
You know? And even if he was like, if he went to, like, you know, dad or whatever, or like went to his family and was like, look, like, let's calm it down. Like, if he used his influence and was like, let's not do a trial by combat or trial by 7 or whatever. Like, this wasn't that serious. Like, Arion, you were being a dick. Like, the puppeteers are gone. Like, it's fine.
Right.
You know, like, he could do that, but you're right. He won't do, like Dunk will do the right thing in the face of any obstacle from what we've seen. Daeron won't do the right thing at all.
Right.
at any point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no, it's really interesting. And then, you know, you even get, because even from Daeron's perspective, it's not like he's super convincing. Like, I don't think anyone even believes him necessarily. Like,
right. It's just like a save face. And it's like, you don't need to save face. You're a prince. It's fine. Like, just say the kid ran off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
It's like everybody kind of knows what he is, but he's like trying to uphold this like fake version of himself that Maekar's the only person who thinks like he could be like that or whatever. Like, everybody else has kind of written him off. So yeah, it's just very straight. And I think like it's very well done in that we get this, you know, these two characters interacting with each other that are like polar opposites in how they approach these sort of like moral decisions.
It's kind of so when I was reading it, I was sort of thinking like Daeron is sort of using Dunk in his politicking, in his Game of Thrones, you know,
right.
He's using his and it kind of reminded me of Cersei Lannister and Ned Stark. And that same kind of contrast of the, you know, and, you know, Ned's decisions, which were at the time good decisions, you know, trying to be like, I don't want you, you know, Cersei, you got to run because I don't want you and your small children to be murdered. Right. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to say to someone. That's the right, moral, correct thing to say to someone.
Right.
And then, you know, Cersei obviously doing all kinds of things with no care towards who's injured. Especially in the later books, once we start to get into her head and seeing like what she does with like Lawless and the Stokework family and things like that, and Qyburn. It's that dichotomy is really interesting, and I think the juxtaposition, like here, like you're saying, really highlights that, and like really, really underlines like that classism is bullshit, and blood purity is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because Daeron is supposed to be a magic prince from Magic Fantasy Dragon Blood. And he's like he would be the worst, but for Arion.
Yeah.
Who's another magic prince from Magic Dragon Blood. And meanwhile, we have Dunk, who's like some kid from Flea Bottom, who is much morally superior to all of them and is actually willing to be a true knight.
Yeah. And
love it, George. Love it.
And Dunk is now still stuck in this this networking game.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, networking really sucks. Like, I feel that. I feel that whenever they're like, you know, you should go to this event to like, you know, meet other like attorneys or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. And then I'm like, fuck, I need to go. I need to meet people. I need to add people on my LinkedIn. I need to like know these people. And like, that's really what it comes to. And he has one connection, which is with the Fossoways.
Yeah. Hey, I noticed we have similar backgrounds. Could I grab 20 minutes on your calendar? I'd really love to pick your brain about trials by combat.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
It's the worst.
I'd love to know your experience with trials by combat. Have you
Yeah.
ever done a trial by 7? I'm doing research about it.
I have a trial by 7 coming up, and I wonder if
Yeah.
you would want to participate / have any advice for me. My mentor
It's so
recently
bad.
passed away, so
If Westeros had LinkedIn.
yeah. Oh God, new meme unlocked.
Yeah.
New TikTok genre just dropped.
Boom. Got it. There you go.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get you content. I'm trying to give
yeah.
you more. I
Well,
love your TikToks.
yeah. The second the Trump administration stops doing things, then I'll be able to move on to LinkedIn. But
We'll never be able to move on.
so no. Well, cool. I feel like this section, a little bit on the shorter side. Obviously, we talked for an hour about it, but because that
We
goes without saying.
promise this is what we deliver.
People
we
know
are
what they're getting.
consistently written characters. Okay, we
Exactly.
deliver the same.
We are very well written
It's
characters.
important.
There's a consistent tone, a consistent.
I didn't say it was well written. I said it was consistently written.
Yeah,
Different.
exactly. But so I talked a little bit about the marketing for the TV show A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms today on TikTok.
Yes.
But I feel like maybe we can contribute to the marketing, of which there is essentially none.
There really hasn't been any. There has been none, and I'm confused.
It's been strange. There were a couple of people in the comments of that video that I'll probably like post a video response to just one of them, not to pick on people, but just to say, because they were like, well, the show is still like 6 months away. And I'm like, yeah, it's only 6 months away.
The show is 6 months away, exactly.
And it's a new show that nobody is going to know about, like, inherently. And they're already starting promos and media for House of the Dragon season 3, which is still over a year. Like, that's further away.
Yeah.
So we can't really, like, you can't say like, oh, well, we still have time. It's like, okay, well, they're already starting marketing for a show that has an existing fan base because it's been on for 2 seasons. Like,
do you want to hear my tinfoil hat theory?
They
know they kind of screwed the pooch in season 2 of House of the Dragon, particularly with the finale. And I liked season 2, but like, the finale was the weakest episode of the season. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just the weakest episode of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the last 10 minutes were a trailer for season 3, so that like, it was like, just, look at all the stuff that's gonna happen.
It was just Rhaena running through the Highlands somewhere, or like really, it was Rhaena running in front of a green screen, and they green screened in like the hills behind. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but anyway,
just against the rock.
Yeah, just like she's just like, oh man. I sure hope I don't run into a dragon out here. I think one thing I've noticed watching HBO now for some time and watching them do these sort of large television shows that are like very expensive, when they make mistakes on things, they like want to fix it. And they like want to fix it by convincing you that it's really, really good. They do this on Game of Thrones constantly.
Yeah.
So like Game of Thrones season 5 was really when people started to pick up on the thing tanking terribly. And they leaned so hard into the marketing of like the best show on television, amazing writers, great cast, amazing
97
this, amazing
Emmy nominations. Like,
every Emmy in the world given to Game of Thrones. Old Emmys, we're taking them back and giving them to Game of Thrones. So I think they're a little worried. I still have faith in them to do it, but yeah. Whereas like when House of the Dragon was coming in initially, I don't remember there being that much about it. It kind of soft launched.
Yeah, I guess that's actually probably fair. So maybe maybe this is their tactic where they like let it build organically, or try to let it build organically, like once it's out, like once the pilot's out.
Yeah. I wonder if they're worried, like, because like think about it, if you have a show that's like new and you have like one season, you kind of soft launch it and it does great, fantastic, it builds organically, whatever. If it's kind of shitty, like then maybe it just kind of goes away,
right?
And they don't have to.
And then you don't have to own the failure as much. Yeah, maybe that's what they're thinking. I just think like I just think that it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a little bit of a self-fulfilling dragon dream if you like.
Yeah. if you would, it's
if
good.
you if you
They dreamed of
like,
low rating. I dreamed of you, Dunk, a big man and low ratings. I don't know what it meant.
I dreamed of getting screamed at in David Zaslav's office. And so I just think that for this show in particular, if you don't hype it a little bit, then maybe you'll get what you ask for, which is nobody will watch it.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a clever marketing campaign somewhere in there to pitch Dunk and Egg as now obviously I haven't seen the show, so I can't say exactly how it should be marketed, but in my mind, if they're making the show that I think they're making, which would be, a faithful adaptation of the novella.
Yep. Come
then
on,
I
HBO.
think there is a clever marketing campaign that they could pull off to appeal to a broader base of people that don't really give a shit about giant dragon civil war, but would be interested in a more of a slice of life, like medieval drama. I think there is like maybe a different slice of audience that you could find.
That's a good point, because they
if
don't
you pitch
have
it as different.
Yeah, they don't have Big Shiny Dragon for this one.
Right.
They don't have Look at Our Dragon. Because like Game of Thrones, they had Look at Our Dragon. And then House of the Dragon, they're like, look at all of our dragons. Look at all of the money we poured into this. This one, they don't have any.
Right.
So that's a really good point. They could target like a different section.
Where it's like, hey, this isn't necessarily like high fantasy. And in fact, it could feel like just a medieval show that happens to take place in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, right?
And if it's written in a comedic way, which I hope it is, like not like a laugh track comedic way, though I would also love that. But like in like a clever, funny way, because like Dunk is like, like the book. The book is funny. There's a lot of funny moments.
Yeah, genuinely funny moments. Yeah.
I think that could be a lot more appealing to people than like, because I know people who wouldn't watch Game of Thrones because of how violent it was, which is perfectly fair.
Right.
If you don't want to watch violence, don't watch Game of Thrones. Don't watch Yellow Jackets. I love Yellow Jackets, but if you don't like violence, don't watch it. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. I don't know. We should keep an eye on that, because I did see your TikTok about that today, and I started thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, they're really. I've seen like 2 promo photos, maybe.
Yeah, and the trailer, there's like a teaser trailer out there that is like nothing. It's nothing. It's like 3 images of the show. So it's like it's like Egg and Dunk and like the title card.
Yeah. If they start advertising also, it'll help our podcast. So come on, HBO.
That's it.
We got to ride your coattails here. We have no money. You have all the money.
You have all the money. Yeah. So I'm trying to redistribute your wealth. No. But speaking of the show and how we can market it, what do you want to see from the section in the show?
I want this to be the dopest shield I've ever seen in my life. This shield, I don't want, and I said this before, I think like in our first episode, if they like saturate this in gray and brown, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh yeah.
Like this better be fucking colorful, this whole thing. And this shield better be like, I want bright hues. I want like beautiful painted. I want like medieval style shield. I don't want like, grungy, tough, like he's a big, strong man. Whatever shield he has, it's going to be big and strong, but it needs to be like this beautiful with the sunset and the tree. And I'll be like really upset and really concerned if the shield is not as described on page.
Yeah.
Like if they make it like tougher colors or something, if they're like, it's a man's shield, so it's got to be black, shit like that. I'm going to be worried. That's going to be a worry moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
No, I love that. I think I want Daeron to be like as transparently shitty as he is in this book, where like I just want him to come across as like careless, like because what I think about the way that they may utilize Daeron is, and this is a little bit of the House of the Dragon stuff, so different writing team, different showrunners, all that sort of stuff, so that I could be projecting. but just don't soften, like, similar to Aerion. Like, I want Aerion to be like an irredeemable asshole. Like, he just needs to suck. And Daeron, I want to be like similarly, he's dodgy. He's like, he is transparent about the fact that he like doesn't care about this stuff or whatever. I don't want him to be like overly sympathetic. Like, I think, like we talked about, there is this like sympathetic side of Daeron, and I don't want it to be just like, oh, look at poor Daeron, like he's just got it so rough. And I think it's easy to sort of veer into that territory where I want Daeron to walk into the tent and like not give a shit about what he's like, done to Dunk, right? Like,
hey, I need you to come outside. Sometimes I dream about you, but also, can you not kill me?
Yeah. Oh, and I'm a big part of the reason that this is even happening. Like,
yeah, sorry about that. Ooh. I'm sorry, not sorry. You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I mean, my dad was gonna be really pissed off.
I mean, if I were to make an HBO prediction, so HBO does not share my interpretation that there's a lot less magic in the world. They take a lot of the magic at face value, including the dreams bit.
Oh, yeah.
So if I were to predict what HBO will do with him, unfortunately, I think they'll probably lean into the dreamer thing and probably soften him because of that.
Yeah.
They'll probably be like, but the magic. He has magic dreams. He's so tortured by his magic dreams. What is he supposed to do? He can't do anything because of his magic dreams. I can foresee HBO doing that.
Ooh, they try to turn him into like a male Helena.
Yeah.
Which he is not. Like, Helena is a very different character, and I don't actually begrudge her portrayal in House of the Dragon as like a tortured dreamer, because I think it's actually, I thought that was actually very well done.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
And if they try to be like, ooh, we've got another one, and like, remember what it's like to be a dreamer, and this is, and they just make, oh god, that would be the worst if they just kind of make him like neurodivergent, because he's not, like, he's not on the page, like on the page he's just an alcoholic, like, that's
right.
So yeah,
I could see them being like, it's dreams, it's special.
Yeah.
And then the outside the episode, they'll be like, well, we thought the dreams were really important thematically because they happened before. So we thought they needed to happen again.
We thought that they would remind people of the other show.
Remember the other show? and then Daeron has a vision of the dagger, of the tummy dagger, and the White Walkers and Daenerys. Yeah. And the screen says this was before Daenerys. Remember her?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
PD is how they measure time in Westeros.
Yeah.
After the show. Pre-Daenerys.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, before Daenerys, after Daenerys.
I really hope that does not happen, but I'm just submitting it as a potential prediction. We'll come back and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if it holds up. I've all but convinced myself that the dagger is making it, the cat's paw is making it.
No, it can't. It can't.
I'm convincing myself of it so that if it doesn't happen, I can be like relieved when it doesn't. They need to let me rest. Yeah.
They need to let my soul and my body rest.
Do not show me a White Walker. Do not show me, like, I don't want to see
a White Walker. I don't want to see Daenerys. I don't want to see a dagger.
Yeah.
I don't even particularly want to see a dragon because there aren't any. Just show me the big boy and the little boy. That's all I want. Yep. And make them so funny. That's all I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the cat's paw dagger is gonna. Oh my god, fucking Baelor Breakspear is gonna have that shit on his hip. It's gonna be like, oh god, this is the ancient Valyrian steel of my house.
Yeah, he is 100%. And he's gonna say, he'll have some kind of like throwaway line of like, oh, my dagger. Yeah, it's just it's nice, but it's just a dagger or something like that. Like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know the prophecy.
The prophecy was lost. Do you get it? It's almost like a theme.
That's why they don't know about it in the show. Because they know about it in House of the Dragon, but they don't know about it in the other show.
Right. But Arya was just lucky because Joffrey picked a random knife out of like a pile of knives in the Red Keep somewhere and gave it to a thief who tried to kill Bran with it, and then Catelyn took it and gave it to Peter, who gave it to it. Somehow Arya got it, and it's lucky that she stabbed him in the tummy with it, because that was the theme.
Yes.
Remember the Bad Show?
I sure do. Too much.
I sure try not to. I have dreams of the Bad Show. Yeah. I wake up in the night and I think, eighth grade book reports. Gothic horror.
Oh God. Yeah. Why am I now? I'm flashing back to the long night, the long one night, and the fact that they actually spent screen time on Arya hiding from zombies in a library.
Remember that time that she started playing Assassin's Creed in the library?
Yeah.
And she stuck around.
It's like Assassin's Creed meets meets Metal Gear Solid, where it's like their vision cone. You just have to avoid their vision cone.
Do you remember what they said about that? D&D said it was like she got bonked on the head and she forgot everything temporarily.
Oh yeah.
That was their explanation. They should go to jail. They should go directly to jail.
Beric Dondarrion still being alive. Then still,
his purpose was to make sure Arya could stab the Night King in the tummy. Do you not see, like,
by making it out of that library that
the immaculate storytelling? Remember that time that Melisandre became bones and dust? Like,
just
no explanation.
Or when she lit all of the Dothraki's Eraks on fire, only for them to go die to a man. And then be alive.
Remember that? I remember that. Yeah.
I think no, that's actually the theory. Melisandre lit all of their swords on fire, and it actually, when they died, it brought them back as fire whites. That was so actually all those Dothraki who are alive in the finale were resurrected by the fire.
Yeah. Oh, okay. 100%. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
favorite was in the last episode when they were like, the Unsullied are going to go settle like parts of Westeros and like have families or whatever, and I was like, I mean,
go make houses of your own, or whatever Davos says.
I mean, are we like really pro-adoption here? That's great. That's good. That's a good progressive value. I'm okay. I just feel like maybe you guys forgot.
Yeah, like. It hasn't been how it's worked up till now.
Yeah, like, okay, we're gonna do that. Remember when Jon went north of the wall? Oh, remember when Arya went at west to see how west goes or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
What's west of Westeros?
What's west of Westeros? The Resteros. Bad jokes from back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, well, let's hope Duncan Egg is not like that. If Duncan Egg is like that,
out a bit, but us crashing out for 10 minutes about Game of Thrones may get cut.
Because I'm worried.
Yeah, and the worry is valid.
They always have me worried. They have, except for House of the Dragon season 1, they have yet to blow me out of the water with anything. So
that's true.
That they didn't fuck up The Last of Us as bad as I thought they would.
Right.
But they also didn't stick the landing. So, what you can do.
Yeah.
Anyway, where else on the internet can people find you?
They can find me on TikTok and Blue Sky at Damon Bachfire. And yeah, I've been making my goofy videos. We'll see if TikTok still exists.
That's right, because the deadline is Saturday. Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
I assume it'll be fine.
You know what's weird about that? Here, you want a crazy conspiracy theory shit for this episode? This episode that will probably come out after this all passes. So you'll know if my crazy conspiracy shit was right. One of the companies that's in talks to purchase a portion of it or whatever is called Blackstone. It's like a huge company. I think it's situated in New York, but it's like a massive company. I've spoken to people that work there.
Sure.
And like the consensus there is that like TikTok is like a Chinese spyware app. and I say consensus there. The consensus among the people I've spoken to. It's a huge company, so who knows?
Sure.
But I fought with some of these people that I know, and I was like, "You're fucking wrong." But they're like, apparently, it's like they're like very much into the like they think it's a Chinese spyware app, and I'm like, I saw it in the news, and I was like, weird then to be like purchasing it,
right?
But
why are you so interested in owning it?
Maybe it'll be an American spyware app. I don't know.
Could be.
Listen, I have never accidentally invited the wrong person to a group chat.
Yeah.
So that's about secret things about them. So I just feel like our government can't say shit about data security.
Right. No, definitely not.
Anyway, side tangent.
Where can people find you?
I'm on TikTok at Block. I am on YouTube as Barely Functional B. I actually now have 2 shows, I guess, on that. So there's Barely Functional B, which is just me ranting about various politics and social stuff. And I just started a monthly podcast with my dad called Downsampled News, where once a month we're going to get together and talk about some news stories from the previous month. Mostly trying not to talk about Orange Cheeto Dictator because everybody does that. So we talked about a few other topics this time. And TikTok, Blue Sky as Block as well. And I'm on Substack as Block. I've been totally unrelated, releasing a zombie apocalypse story, a little chunk every week on Substack. If you want to read that, that would be great. I take all feedback. It's the very first draft. So super rough, but a fun time. So those are all the places. Oh, we probably should tell people what we're reading next time.
Yes. Yeah, the section.
So we're going to start at the top of page 92. And we're going to go to the middle of page 101. There's a break in the page. And it ends with "The gods will let us know," said Baylor Breakspear. Da, da, da. And we're getting close to the end of this novella.
Yes. Yeah, we're probably in the last 3 episodes, maybe 3 more after this. So yeah, we're getting to the business end of the Hedge Knight, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. We're plugging you, HBO. We're trying to get everybody interested. HBO, we're doing it.
Exactly. The pre-work is done.
Yeah,
is done for you. We're getting your marketing campaign out there, and we can be bought. So
we can be bought. Yeah. I don't know that we cost very much, but we can be bought.
Yeah. So.
No, they'll read my writing on their shows. They'll never give me any money.
I was gonna say they'll listen to the last 10 minutes where we just ripped on them about shoehorning the dagger into A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So it's over for us. But yeah, well, thanks everyone for
joining us for this very long episode.
Yeah.
It's fine. We had a good time.
Absolutely. And until next time, hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.